I actually enjoy the Gregs more than I enjoy the podcast.
I'm getting to the point where I think I'm the same.
If I had to pick.
We should just turn this into a Greg's-based podcast where
Mate,
we review
we talk
Greg's.
as well about how fucking good theme tune numero do song
Oh, it's
is.
so good.
It's fucking banging. All hail Philippe, audio boy, writer of theme tunes.
And he'd definitely fail this exam on Tuesday because he spent his time writing our theme tune.
It's fucking amazing though. Right, should we get cracking?
Yeah, aye.
Get your mic. Get your mic. Get your mic.
He quits now. Literally, as I'm about to get my episode. He's like,
I don't want to do it.
Yeah, you're on your own, Gav. See you later.
I've got the gloomies.
Trust me, I'll do it by myself.
It's meandering movies, listening to Gary, Ryan, and Gavin. It's all about films, but goes off course. Will there be arguments? Of course, 'cause everyone knows their lives are dull and they have nothing else to talk about.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Meandering Movie Podcast, where we like to talk about movies and everything else. I'm just shortening that
Let's
every
not list
week.
that shit. Yeah, everyone
Yeah,
knows.
it's every week.
Go back to last
Something
week.
new. Something new. Over the last 2 weeks, you will have been listening to our best movies of the decade. And when we say decade, we mean a period of 9 years because we didn't think it through. Nope.
Really didn't.
And the first episode was mine.
There's so many movies that came out that are coming out in 2020 that could have made it onto our list, our films of the decade.
Could have made it.
10 years.
It's not though. Oh yeah, you count zero, don't
10
you?
years, mate. Yeah. I also
Now I
had,
feel
I also
like
had a
an even
film from
bigger
2020
dick.
on my list. So
Did you? I think I did as well.
Yeah,
but
you
I
did.
just counted it as 9. So,
Yeah.
what a dick.
I've been very stringent on myself.
Self burn. So yeah, first week was mine. My 10. By now, hopefully you've listened to them in order. You'll know what my favorite 10 were. If you're only listening to this one first, go back, listen to episodes 1 and 2, where you'll hear mine and Skittles. Back to
Because
back.
what I can say is because of the time it took us to record these episodes, I've now had the time to go back and watch all of the films in both of your lists. And what I got to say is those lists were already tippity top.
Tippity top.
Now that I've seen all of the films on both of your lists, real fucking good lists.
I was surprised when you messaged me saying, I just watched the one I thought was going to be the absolute shitter on your list, and I'm happily surprised.
It was
I like,
enjoyable. It was
it's a good
entertaining.
horror film, right?
he
Yeah.
also watched the one that I thought he was going to hate most on my list, and he liked that too. And he cried.
I had a wee cry at it. It was so fucking good.
Who are you?
I don't know. I've
Where's-
changed.
where's the
2020 is a
other
new me.
Gavin?
He actually
2020,
hated
new-
them both. He's just been nice, so we're nice to
New
him.
year, new Gavin.
And I've got Greg's in me.
Got some Greg's. Greg's makes us happy.
Yeah, Greg's here this week, guys.
I won't tell you how
he's
he
doing
got
things to Gavin.
I won't tell you how he got inside of me.
But this week we are coming around to, host number 3. It's gonna be a bit of a different speed, we think.
That's in ranked order, by the way.
Well, if we're doing it ranked order, he's host 4.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Remember we were really nice to each other in the first 2 episodes?
I'm gonna be nice about your movie choices, just not nice to you as a human. But yeah, Gavin, it's your list, your week. Would you like to preface it with anything?
Yes. I've got a name.
Oh yeah, let's do names as always.
As even though we've discussed and said everyone's names, Gavin still insists that we're going to.
Because I thought, no, you all made fun of me earlier because I was I had to pick up Ryan, but before I picked up Ryan, I went for a shower. And then when I came out of the shower, there was a stream of messages on our group chat of you all making fun of me for being in the shower, making up a name. And that's what I was doing while I was in
I
the
feel
shower.
like Audio Boy has nailed it though. Last thing you ate and crippling fear of self.
Well, I hope that's not the case for the name I'm about to come out with.
If you say big dick something,
Loneliness.
I will die of laughter.
Big dick loneliness.
I do have a big dick and I am lonely. So it works out perfectly. Got you.
What's your name, Gav?
My name is G Wizzle, or Jizz for short.
What do you mean for short?
G? Would it not be like Giz?
No, but it's funny because it sounds like Jizz.
Giz.
Jizz.
Do you pronounce it Jif?
My name is G Wizzle, Jizz
Do you
for
pronounce
short.
it Jif?
No.
Good.
My name
Okay,
is,
Giz, let's go on with the podcast.
my name is G Wizzle, Jizz for short.
Jizz is going to be doing his
I had
episode
to have
today.
a really quick shower so I could pick up him.
I, as always, am Gary Copeland, and over on this mic we have...
Get to know the rainbow really well.
Skittles. And as we talked about, our new theme tune.
What about him
maker
over there?
Is
Audio Boy.
Audio Boy.
Woo, woo, woo.
There we go.
up?
We did our names. So, Gavin.
Yes.
Let's get into your list, mate. Let's do it.
Okay, hold on.
Oh, wait. Where's my pen and paper?
We are so professional.
Where's my pen and paper? Don't move. Stare at Audio Boy. Thank you.
I was going to get up and get it.
Right, go on. Shoot. Film number
there
one.
not a
Let's
pen?
do it. Let's do it.
What do you need a pen for?
No, I thought for him.
Yeah, we're
Gary's
fine.
probably going to write in the blood that he's going to cut out his thighs when he has to listen to the shit films you're going to say.
He's got a
He has it
paper
written
list.
down.
He's got a paper list.
Can I look over it first? I think that'll make me feel better.
No.
Oh, God. Do
God, here we go.
you know what's the worst thing about the paper list? Is Gary's going to have to edit out all your rustling.
Stop it,
Do
Gavin.
you know what's the sound of, people? Quality.
Can I just? I want to see
How many
what's written
diddles
on
have
it.
you done?
Can you turn it? Can you turn it just so I can see what it looks like at the moment? Oh, it's just the scribblings of a madman.
I sat here one night for like an hour and a half. Yeah, for context,
Go on.
I had 29 films.
Of the best of the decade,
Yes.
29.
Also, for extra context, you had 14 extra days.
This is true. And so, yeah, I did this. I worked on this. And I'm excited. Also, because I can't talk about all 29 films, because not even I want to hear that, I'll put them up. I'll put like a wee image up on Instagram. You can see what all 29 films were. Because there's going to be some people like, oh,
I'm going to apologise for that before it happens.
That's going to be a treat. A tiny compressed image of 29 tiny compressed film posters.
Written
that
by
you've
Gavin.
hodgepodged together.
no,
somehow.
I'll bring up something beautiful. But people are like, oh, I can't believe you didn't have that film, Gavin. I'm like, I know, but it was on the list at some point.
Who's going to say that?
You have such high
I'm not even
hopes.
100% sure anyone listens to this podcast.
So the first film we're going to talk about is a film that I talked about last year in the best of 2019, so I thought I'd get it out the way
Can I just...
straight away. Yeah.
Are we doing this in any particular order? Or is
No,
this just-
no order whatsoever.
No orders. These are just 10 of your favourite films
From the
of
decade. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So the first film is Capernaum. We talked about it
I
last
remember
year.
this. I remember you talking about this.
Yes. Are you writing down that that's the film you're going to watch? Or you
Yeah,
ready?
I didn't watch it last time.
He's writing down to cut out. He's going to cut out every film you say and just replace them with films we pick.
Shrek 1, Shrek 2,
Two,
Shrek 3, Shrek 4 ever
Oh,
after.
well, God. See, the first film I'm going to talk about is Capernaum.
You're not allowed Shrek 3 in there, I'm sorry. Doesn't count.
Shrek 3 is definitely not going to be on there. I've never seen it, and I know it's not.
I like that your potential about the other three.
The soundtrack from Shrek 2 is better than Shrek 3.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yep.
Sorry.
Capernaum.
Capernaum. Let the guy.
It was definitely my favourite film of 2019. Again, it's a foreign film because, you know, it's...
You said again already. But you have previously said any other
I
film.
haven't got to the other ones yet. Oh!
So many.
So many foreign films
So
coming.
I won't really say much more about Capernaum other than go listen to our best of 2019 episode where I talk about Capernaum and why you should watch Capernaum. Audio Boy has
What's it
also
called?
seen Capernaum.
Okay, just wondering.
Audio Boy has seen the movie. I didn't.
I'm a
say the title, I
changed
think.
person since that film.
I do
Genuinely.
remember you guys like 100% gushing about this. Yeah, it was a year ago, right?
In fact, the three
That's
of
the one
us.
with a ghost bomb.
No, that's Under the Shadow.
Oh yeah.
It's not the Ghost Bomb one. The day that Audio Boy and I went to see it, you were supposed to come with us, but for some reason you couldn't or didn't want to. Probably didn't want to. And then you went home instead. And Audio Boy and I went and saw it. And then after we saw it, we messaged you just being like, you missed out on one of the best movies of the year.
Had a wee cry in the car.
Did you?
Yeah.
Why would have been a broken? Why would like? I feel like these films, you're always like, you should come see these, Gary. And then I'm the most emotional human being.
This is
I
true.
cry at so much. I cried at a dog I seen in the car yesterday. He just was cute.
Jesus Christ.
2020, new year, same Gary. But I think the thing is, I always want to watch these films, but I don't want to wreck myself emotionally, and I
But
know I'm just going to come out.
it's
the
more
other
than
side
just
like-
wrecking yourself emotionally. It's just the experience of the movie. Like, I mean, when you watch, just and I'm going to say so many pretentious, wanky things during this episode. You all knew this was going to come.
Yeah, we know.
I'll
We've
apologize.
been prepping our listeners for 2 weeks.
I know. Ryan's been prepping himself. Like every day, he wakes up going like,
I am not ready. I do taxi driver speeches in the mirror, man. Trying to get through this shit.
he's just like fucking
Getting the arm ready in the morning.
10 more days until I have to deal with his pretentious wanky shit.
10 more days where I have to do wank signs with my arms for 40 whole minutes.
You think we're here for 3 hours, boy? I've only done one movie and I haven't finished talking about it.
You haven't started talking about it, which
That's
is also
true.
the interesting thing.
It's the experience of just pure cinema at its best, and that's what Capernaum is. It's a movie that I don't know how it, I don't know how they did it, but it's astonishing and it's beautiful and it's emotional and it's one of the best films of the decade.
And I think for this list specifically, if that's all right with you, Gav, could you give us a little summary of, like, you know, kind of what the films are going to be about? Because
You're very good at describing everything
great
around the
about a
film.
Well, I can give you some.
And I think, you know, our two lists were more like the kind of films that are in a bigger spotlight.
We
which
didn't
people
spoil
probably
it.
I
haven't
can
heard
tell you
about.
about this one.
Which, yeah, like, I just think if you could give me like a kind of summary of plot.
Would you
for
like
these
to go on?
films.
The film is about a young, sort of 9-10-year-old boy who sues his parents and wants to be disowned from them because of how his life has gone.
Oh, I've seen that.
Emancipated.
You haven't seen Capernaum.
Yeah, I have.
What?
Was it good?
Yeah, it was good.
Was it life changing?
Yeah, it was good.
Didn't make it onto your top 10.
I've seen that.
What? All the time I've been talking about this film. You're like, oh yeah,
You
I've
just
seen
never I didn't know what it was called. You've never mentioned it. What it was about. You've never said it once.
Where he like goes to like the Funland and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
this.
Well, there you go. I feel left out now.
Are you looking at plot summaries for the films that are on
No,
your
I was
top
looking
10
up
lists
a
for the decade?
director for one of my other films because I wanted to make sure I got his nationality correct.
Wow.
But it doesn't matter. Yeah, Capernaum came out 2018.
Mm-hmm.
No, well, I guess 2019 for us.
Well, it was on your best films of the year last year, so let's fucking hope it came out.
It came out 2019 in the UK. It was the film festival that came out 2018.
Which film festival?
Probably Cannes or something like that.
Probably.
Directed by Nadine Labaki,
Okay.
female director.
Always
'Cause,
good.
And then the wee kid's called Zayn N. Rafia. He's 11 years old, 12 years old in the film. One of the best performances I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Just something that's like, how did they get this from this kid?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's always nice when you see a kid actor doing a good job, because
Yeah.
if you've got a child who's playing a prominent role in your film, it's like a
They
linchpin.
can either make it or break it.
Yeah. And mostly they break it.
Well,
A lot of
yes.
the time.
Okay, so
So anything else about Capernaum?
nothing else about Capernaum.
Cool.
Go
Film
back
number
to
two.
our 2019 episode to hear more about that, or just watch the bloody film.
Watch the film.
Watch
That's
the
better
bloody
show.
film, people. The next film I'm going to talk about is from 2013.
Mhm.
It's a movie called The Great Beauty, or if you want its proper name, Le Grand Le Bête. It's an Italian film, directed by Paolo Sorrentino.
Never heard Italian in a Glaswegian accent before.
Le Grand Bellezza. I think I'll jump to the director before I go to the film. Paolo Sorrentino is one of my favourite directors. He's done, if anyone's seen the recent Jude Law show, The New Pope, or The Young Pope, with anyone that. He also did a movie recently called Youth with Michael Caine and Harvey Keitel. It's really good. But he's primarily, obviously, in Italian cinema. But The Great Beauty, I feel, is his peak piece of cinema. It's about a aged writer in Italy who has kind of left what brought him to Italy was his writing, but then the nightlife and the kind of religious social experience that he kind of got wrapped up in is what took over his life.
They're two very different things. Like going out and getting twatted and being religious. I
No,
would
like
say,
like the experience of the social events was almost
Gav
like this
actually
kind
goes
of-
out and gets twatted religiously, so they're not actually.
This is very
two
true.
different things.
But it's almost like a kind of religious gathering of these fucking insane people that come together for these massive parties, and it's all about social interaction and drinking and life, and you can imagine why I'm into it. Plus, lost loves and new loves, and it's got the
Where's it set?
Italy, Rome.
Your favourite place?
Oh, I love that. So much goodness has come from that beautiful country. But if you've ever seen anything by Paolo Sorrentino, and I'm definitely butchering most of these foreign
I'm a
directors'
huge
names.
lover of that person. I've seen most of his other work.
Pablo Chia Sorrento.
Oh yeah.
Is that what you were trying to say?
No, it's Palo Sorrento.
No, I just said the name Pablo and then the car a Kia Sorrento. That's what it sounded like to me. I don't know what it was.
I just had no clue which one of you was right.
It's probably not me. If you've ever seen anything of his work, he has this kind of like the imagery is so anarchic compared to the context of the scene that's happening in front of you. And when you watch it, you're just like, I don't understand why this is happening, but it's so beautiful. I just don't want to stop looking at it while also just taking this film in. And it's a film I've watched so many times over the last couple of years, and it's got a beautiful performance. And I was just like, please, again, The Great Beauty. I think it's on Netflix.
Paolo Sorrentino.
Paolo Sorrentino. So that's it.
That's different.
This is like in the IT crowd when Jen's trying to speak Italian. She's like, Viennetta Fiat Punto.
Cool. Good film then.
Yeah, beautiful film.
Beautiful film. So I just on talking here. I know we were like, it's going to be a really long episode, but I feel like because you're going to have picked 10 films that neither me or Ryan.
You can ask questions.
Yeah, we spoke a lot to each other about the films because we'd seen them, but we've never seen these films, so we're just going to be like, yeah, cool, we'll take your word for it.
You can ask questions. You can engage.
I'm trying, but other than what's it about, and that sounds good.
Yeah, there's not really much you can say. I actually feel like I'm going to have to start being horrible to you to beef this episode out.
I'll take it.
I'm looking forward to watching these, but yeah, it's an interesting.
Yeah, I'm not even writing them down because I'm just going to look at the list because I guarantee I've seen none of them.
You might have seen this next one I'm going to talk about.
Okay.
It's a film called Under the Skin.
Oh, with
Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson.
Yes.
The alien.
That's in your... Okay.
Well, apparently it's not allowed to be.
No, I just
From the reaction
it
that Ryan
was not expected.
I genuinely, I didn't expect this. But
Directed by Jonathan Blazer. Film came out in 2013.
Wow.
Yeah.
Currently your favourite year for film in the last decade.
Well, you know,
Two out of 3.
a lot of good things happened in 2013.
Under the Skin was. I did really enjoy Under the Skin.
See, you've seen it. You've seen it.
Yep.
We've seen it.
Well, I'm about to start talking about it, Gavin. That was what my.
I'm just
setup
excited.
was.
I'm just excited.
No, I did. I really, really enjoyed Under the Skin. I looked at it when I was making my list as well. I don't know. I think I remember watching it, and I think it just was a little bit too art house and surreal for me to fully appreciate it. And that's more of my personal taste. You know what I mean? Like that's a taste issue because it was a great film, and the soundtrack specifically was one of the things that I
It's
remember.
haunting.
Soundtrack was phenomenal in that movie.
I think I need to go back and watch it. I think I watched it at a time of tiredness or
Youth.
no, just like I watched it at the
You gotta
wrong
be in the
time.
right state of
You've
mind
got
for
to
it.
definitely be ready to sit down and watch everything. And I was not.
I'd never seen anything by this director before. I think he's done another film called Birth. Yeah, no, in fact, I'd seen the other film he did is Sexy Beast with Ray Winston, our main man.
Wolfman,
The sexiest of beasts, as we learned.
Sexy Beast is a really good movie, but I'd never seen anything this from him before. And I remember sitting there in the cinema just being like, just terrified and excited at the same time to be like watching something so different and with such a strong vision. Because like that whole film is like, there's nothing else like it out there. From the first scene to the last scene. Like the scene that always sticks in my head is like, I guess like
the guy walking towards the camera with a big fucking boner.
No,
that's the one scene that's stuck in my head, and I wish I could just cleanse it, but it's just fucking right in there.
I mean, plot synopsis wise, you can't really synopsisize.
Fundamentally, it's a woman. It's a woman who comes. I mean, pretty early on, you find out she's an alien in a human skin, and then it's just her mission on Earth. I think it's the best thing you can say without ruining.
It's to take the skin of men.
It's to power a machine of some sort.
But we don't know what the machine is.
Yeah, I mean it's very. There's a lot
then
of vagary.
Her path kind of then goes off in a new direction when she starts to almost come alive as a person.
Well, she starts to feel emotion, doesn't she? Yeah. And it like Scarlett Johansson was very, very good in it.
She's perfectly cast for that kind of film.
From the opening scene where I think opening scene. I haven't watched this in a while, but from the opening scene where she's taking the outfit off of the other alien,
you have to assume was the previous one of her,
and you were just
job.
like, "Holy shit!" And then the one thing I do remember from that film that I fucking loved was the cinematography because
it's got such a strong kind of level of imagery to it where you're just at all times.
Like that, the pre aforementioned scene of the guy walking towards the screen with a big fucking boner. Although that is funny in the context of the film, what's
Shot
happening
well.
in that? Yeah, like what's happening though is it's that perfectly black room, and then he starts walking on perfectly black liquid that only he's being
Pulled down into.
and only he's being reflected in as well. And it's just this.
Yeah.
It like the film looks so amazingly alien because I remember looking into that scene and the amount of work they had to do to pull that off was ridiculous.
And it's weird because, like, since then, Jonathan Blazer hasn't done anything else movie-wise. He did a short film for the BBC last year, and it's kind of like under the skin. It just makes you so uncomfortable and so uneasy, and it doesn't tell you anything. You just have to watch it. Like, I've watched it like 3 times now, just to be like, what is this short film about going? Well, like, where is it going?
Yeah.
But apparently he's working on a new film that's going to come out maybe this year or next year, and I'm just like, give me more of him. Like, it's people have said it perfectly. Like, he has the kind of vision of a Kubrick almost, where it's like
I can see
he's
that from under the
completely in
skin.
charge and he does what he wants with his
And back
vision
to
and
sort of
story.
making films as well, where because people like really being force fed shit now. Like they like to know exactly everything. He's like, I'm going to put in so many questions and I'm going to answer none of them.
And I love that shit.
You use your mind to decide, or don't bother. I don't care.
Yeah,
He's like, I'm making my film.
and we are missing that definitely in today's
People like being shit forced right in their face. Like, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
Here's it.
This is the one. I saw Jojo Rabbit the other day, and without spoiling anything for anyone that is listening to that hasn't seen it, go see it first and foremost. But there was a part in that, and the woman behind me, something happens on screen. The woman behind me just went, "Oh my god, the shoes!"
Yeah.
And I went, "What?" like everyone around you is watching the same fucking movie. Like you don't have to
Yeah.
exclaim that stuff. And that's not like particularly force fed, but it just made me laugh that. Like, what a reaction to something
think,
that's not
no.
even a twist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Jojo Rabbit does something that Under the Skin also did, which is it has moments that sucks the air out of the room that you're in. Because I remember watching Under the Skin, and there's a moment. It's the moment that always sticks to me is one of the guys, like his body is just kind of floating there in this water after he's been sucked under, and then he just pops, and the sound that it makes when he pops just like kind of pierces into your ears, and just like your whole body just kind of shudders. And I just remember just being there in the audience and that happening, and the whole audience just kind of going, "Oh god, like what the fuck?"
Because what happens directly after that as well. I've purposely gone back and watched that scene like a couple of times because it is horrifically haunting. Like it's brilliant. It's brilliant
Also,
cinema.
the thing we haven't talked about yet, but we should have mentioned is like it's primarily filmed in Glasgow.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, oh, there's Strucky Hill Street, or there's that place that isn't open anymore that used
with
to.
random people that then they got into the movie.
Yeah,
That's
it's also kind of shot guerrilla style where they would just pull people in. And
There's
just
that
like,
one scene where she's chatting up that guy after the Celtic Rangers game.
Yes.
This is very early on as well, so no spoilers. But he's like, "You're right, love," and he's like, "Yeah, do you want to get in?" And he's like, "Aye." Gets in, and without saying anything else to her, rolls the window down, puts his scarf out the window, and rolls it back up like. This is a Rangers van. And I was like, oh, that's just so fucking horrifically cringy. Why would you do
Yeah.
that? Like, if you've just been picked up by this gorgeous woman who he doesn't even realize is Scarlett Johansson, I'm sure. Why would you do that? Like, that's the surefire way to not get sex.
but it's also so
Surely.
perfectly authentic.
Yeah, it's legit.
It's brilliant, but I hate that scene as well.
There we go. We've talked about Under the Skin. That went well.
Check that one off.
That one was.
That one
Okay,
went.
chuffed he is.
The next film I'm going to talk about is a film from 2010.
The fact that you said I'm going to talk about it means that we're not going to go to.
No,
do
in
it
fact,
now.
I think you'll have seen it. I don't know if you.
Probably not.
We'll find out.
Let's face facts.
I know Audio Boy's seen it.
Gavin does this thing where he points at us and says "you," and you guys just need to presume which one of us is.
This is true. I'm terrible at this audio thing currently. I'm just, I'm worked up. I'm excited. The next film is Blue Valentine, starring Ryan Gosling and Michelle Williams. Never seen Blue
I've never
Valentine?
seen it,
Never
no.
seen Blue. It's not a fault.
That's on your
That's
top
on my
films
list.
of the decade.
Yep.
Whoa, that's the most scathing I've ever heard of you.
Audio Boy was so harsh there.
Go on. What is Blue Valentine?
Blue Valentine is, I think, one of the most perfect romantic movies focusing on what love is like.
Debatable.
I've seen this film many times now. Most recently, I watched it last year, and it tells the story both at the beginning of Ryan Gosling and Michelle Williams' relationship and at the end, and then both kind of travel towards each other until you kind of meet in the middle, but then also at the end again. Does that make sense? And it's like, you know those feelings you have when you're with someone in the beginning and everything's perfect, and you've got your songs and you've got those little moments that kind of like encapsulate what your relationship is, but then also watch that at the same time as the relationship's falling apart and it's maybe becoming dangerous and violent and there's kids involved, and it's just like, it's such an incredible kind of tapestry of love in front of you, with of course the beautiful Ryan Gosling and the gorgeous Michelle Williams, who just absolutely nail it in that film. And it's just, it's so lovely and so heartbreaking at the same time.
I do have a question about this one. What are your relationships like with women?
Well, they're all lovely and beautiful in the beginning, and then they always crash and burn in the end.
Violence, kids being involved.
There's no violence.
What are you doing to these women?
There's no violence or kids in my part. That's all from the movie itself. I'm talking about those little beautiful touchstone moments in the beginning where you're just like, you just sit for hours with each other, or you just walk around.
Because what this sounds like to me, I'm not comparing the two, but it sounds like very similar to 500 Days of Summer in the sense that 500 Days of Summer was one of those films that came out and everyone was like, oh, Zooey Deschanel and
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
It's a love film. Wait, they didn't get together at the end? And people were fucking outraged by that. But that film's okay. It's not my favorite film. I watched
500 Days of Summer is problematic.
But what I like about it is the fact that it ends and they don't get together, and it's like, yep, that's life.
Sometimes what happens.
Fucking just, deal with it. Yeah, he loves her and she isn't as fussed. But I'm assuming what you're saying, what this sounds like to me is a that times 50, like an infinitely better version of something.
I would say it's
similar.
that times reality.
Cool.
It's almost
Well,
like the non-marital version of Marriage Story.
It's got Marriage Story.
Yeah, that's pretty
in
accurate,
there.
I would say.
Yeah, I would say it's closer to Marriage Story than it is 500 Days of Summer.
Cool.
And it's just so, it's like structurally it's so perfectly done. And God, I just want to be with Ryan Gosling at points. I just want to.
So the film runs two ways at the same time. So it's going.
Yeah,
from the
it's
beginning and the end
weird.
of the
Like
relationship.
it kind of starts in the beginning and at the end, travels towards each other and then away from each other for the very end.
Kind of like
which is-
Benjamin Button.
Sure, yeah.
If
It's
Benjamin
like
Button was about two people. Well, it is. It's like Benjamin Button.
Brad
Sounds
Pitt
like
and
Benjamin
Kate
Button.
Blanchett, directed by David Fincher. I just like doing that every so often. But yeah, Blue Valentine is definitely a film I would... Not if you recently had a bad breakup, maybe don't watch it. But if you're in a healthy relationship, get a wee peek into your future. It's like,
I'm surprised you ever get to watch it.
oh, whoa.
Fucking hell.
Jesus Christ.
I'm being nice this week.
I'm feeling saucy.
We've had Greg's and everything, and you still did that to me.
That was funny.
Audio Boy seems lost by that joke.
No, I'm still perplexed as to how this has made it onto your grandiose list of the best films of the decades.
Sad boy, any.
Because, don't get me wrong, it's a really good movie, but just I've seen lots of other rom-coms or just romantic dramas, and it didn't seem all that.
What Phil's trying to
entirely
say is
better
it's
than
good,
in
but
the
it's
rest
not
of them.
about time.
Yeah, About Time, I would put that on about the same level of
Nah,
how
alright,
good
okay,
a
it's
film
great
it is.
Oh, then yeah. So that was on his best.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then that makes perfect sense in Philip.
Okay.
You just go back to being
It's like, why
cute in the
choose that
corner.
one? Why not choose About Time?
Because I hadn't seen About Time when I made
But you
this
have
list.
now.
Yeah, you had a whole week, you saw it.
I didn't want to be a...
Gavin, I like this. I think I'm going to watch Blue Valentine.
Yeah,
it
same
sounds
here,
It's
man.
to
good.
me.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's on Amazon Prime if you want to watch it. The next movie I'm going to talk about is A Separation.
A Separation.
A Separation.
Cool.
And this again is a foreign film. It's Iranian. It's
I
directed,
started writing that down. Let me scribble it out then. No, I'm joking.
Asghar Farhadi directed this film. He had two films that came out in this decade: Separation and
Is this the Ghost Bomb one?
no, this is not the Ghost Bomb one. The Ghost Bomb one just doesn't appear.
It's on Netflix as well at the moment.
What?
Under the Shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ghost Bomb.
In case anybody does want to watch it, it's on Netflix. It's on my watch list.
But when you search for Ghost Bob, you're just going to get like Ghost in the Shell and not Under the Shadow.
I might just turn my mic off and watch it now.
Just so you can understand why I like that movie.
Cool. So a separation.
So he did A Separation and he did The Salesman in this decade, and I was between which one to choose.
Why didn't you pick both? Fucking annoying. Doesn't matter if you've got the same director twice. Just pick the films you like.
Oh no, because there was other films over us.
So the other film would have been part of the 29 selection.
100%.
Which you'll all get to read very soon.
Lucky people. I shouldn't have done A Separation after Blue Valentine. I'm just thinking now. Anyway,
Too late. Self-care.
Separation is a story of a wife wants to move away closer to her family so she can work. Husband wants to stay where he is, where the kids are at school and stuff. And then because it's an Ask Her for a Harry film, he injects this kind of moral conundrum into it just to mix things up even more. So they have his father is very ill, so they have a house help to look after him. Mm-hmm. But one day she doesn't do a very, very good job. The father gets hurt, and then the guy tries to throw her out of the flat. And in that, I don't want to say what she does, but she does something that then incriminates him, and he gets pulled into this kind of legal battle while at the same time trying to deal with his wife wanting to leave him, but not now. She wants to stay and support him because of this situation. And it's pure dialogue and it's brilliance. Mm-hmm. And it's what Ask Her for Harry does brilliant, is he just puts people in a situation, lets them talk about it, and you just kind of lose yourself in this.
Do you want to talk about anything? You okay?
Yes, I'm good. It's like,
so this is quite a small, not budget, but at least like single room esque.
No, it spans
cool
more than one room.
But you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, I know
it's very dialogue heavy, and it's more focused on.
But
really, could have them anywhere.
Yeah,
they kind of
focused on performance other than like location and stuff.
Yeah,
cool. And it's pure performance, pure dialogue, and he does it. And it's the same with The Salesman, which came out 2016, 17, kind of similar situation. Difficulties within a relationship, but at the same time a moral conundrum that comes up that they have to deal with and kind of battle it. He does that stuff really well, and for me, A Separation is his peak of that. Yeah, and he's the director. He's done a fair few films at this point. Many of them have gotten quite a lot of accolades over the years. He's a director that I would, if you're interested in exploring foreign cinema outside of like just France and Germany, and you want to go to some other countries, he's an Iranian director that I would highly recommend checking out his work. He does some incredible stuff.
And what was his name again?
Ask Her for Harry.
Ask Her for Harry. Cool. I'm just making sure listeners can get it.
Next on the list, I think a film everyone will have seen, is a movie called The Master.
Nope.
It's directed by... Now, here's a fun fact. You had one of this director's films on your list.
We've seen all his films.
I know. And I went between that film and this film.
Farewell.
Nope.
No?
So this is a movie directed by Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh, okay.
This is the movie he did with Joaquin Phoenix and Philip Seymour Hoffman, where he kind of did quasi, like, look into the creation of Scientology, but did it in his own Paul Thomas Anderson way, where Philip Seymour Hoffman plays the creator of Scientology, and Joaquin Phoenix
plays Tom Cruise.
No, it doesn't play. Oh, that actually been quite good, actually. Plays a guy who kind of just gets pulled in by his kind of, that kind of magnetism that he had that made him the person he was and made Scientology what it was. And it's Philip Seymour Hoffman and Joaquin Phoenix, two of the greatest American actors that we have or had, just in scenes together, and it's just astonishing to watch. They have one particular scene that's like just 50 minutes of the two of them in a room with some cutaways, and Joaquin Phoenix is just gives his all while Philip Seymour Hoffman's just drinking moonshine. It's just like it's Paul Thomas Anderson, so the movie looks gorgeous as well. And I was between that and Phantom Thread, but I end up going with The Master because of Phoenix and Hoffman just
meshing off each other.
Yeah.
Which that sounds right up my street, to be perfectly honest. Like, I think so far that's the one that I'm kind of like most interested to go home and watch, because I do thoroughly enjoy like a solid performance piece, and those two. Because when did this come out, actually? Philip Seymour Hoffman's in it.
Came out in
12?
12.
Yeah. Must be one of his last films.
Around then, yeah. I know, what a way
R.I.P.
to go. So,
Well,
He was kind of doing
the Hunger Games.
Yeah,
part
Hunger
two.
Games at the same time.
yeah, but no one cares about that. We care about the master. Plus, if you love Phantom Thread, or if you've enjoyed any of Paul Thomas Anderson's other films, then the master's just right up there.
Yeah.
It's maybe my second favourite, maybe third favourite of his filmography. Obviously, There Will Be Blood being number one, because that's a modern American masterpiece.
See, as like directors, they don't have that many films. So you saying something's like your third favorite film of theirs is not an impressive thing to say.
He's got like a filmography of like 9 or 10 films at this
That's
point.
yeah. So third best is not that good.
But, well, I couldn't say There Will Be Blood because that came out before the beginning of the decade.
Yeah.
And I'm always it's like, how much do I love Punch Drunk Love? I don't know. I think I love it. But it's just like the master. So I'm struggling between the two of them.
Okay.
Also
then
Phantom Thread.
Phantom Thread.
God, Phantom. See, it's not fair. There's too many. The next film we're going to talk about is Roma.
I knew this was going.
You knew Roma was
I
coming.
knew it was going to be on there.
Roma was going to be on there.
Still need to watch
Oh.
Roma as well. I still have.
I thought you made a pun there, and I was just like,
No,
I was just
be nice.
Don't have to say too much to think about this film. If you've ever heard our Oscars episodes, or when we did a live reaction to the Oscars, all of that, you know how much I love this movie. Have you watched it yet, Gary? Remember this time?
I said I was going to watch it. I know.
That was a year now.
Yeah, I've kind of got back into watching films. I think the problem is the last year I've been watching so many films at the cinema, and because so many of them were just like
Guff.
abominable and cats, that when I got home it was like, I'm going to play a game or read a book. I'm not going to watch another
Yeah.
movie. But this year I'm not quite as hell bent on doing the.
Because you've done it now.
I've done it,
And it was
I
a
did
miserable
once,
experience.
I'm happy. I'm still going to aim for it, but I'm not like going to bend over backwards and go and see Cats and Rise of the Skywalker.
Oh, you got to see Cats.
All this kind of shit because I need to fill out 100. So I'm watching more films at home. which
I
is
was quite
nice.
tempted to do my films of the decade and just 1 to 10 be Cats. That's an experience, that movie.
Oh, I looked up the photo of the 3 mice children again.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's nightmare fuel.
it's horrendous.
I've
They're
still not
so
seen
bad.
it.
Oh.
Wait,
We should have
let me-
taken a wee day together.
Just you continue on with your next film. I was going to send this into the group, Brian, so you can
Okay.
see how
My
bad
phone
this
is
looks.
next to Gavin.
Yeah, I'll just finish up with Roma. Directed by Alfonso Cuarón. If you've ever seen Children of Men or Gravity, movies like that, you know what the kind of caliber of this man as a filmmaker. But Roma,
Holy shit! Sorry.
we're always pausing to now look at the mice.
The horrible mice
Oh,
children. from
fucking
Cats,
hell.
Right?
You're horrific.
They're also tiny. The other thing that doesn't make sense in the film, they're also, you know, in like Gulliver's Travels, the little people are, you know, tiny and they can stand on his shoulder.
Yeah.
That's how big those mice are compared to the cats.
Oh, what?
Which
That
doesn't make
makes-
any sense because that's
Yeah.
not how small mice are compared to cats. Like, mice are pretty big.
Nothing in that film makes sense.
Oh, it's horrendous.
Audio Boy made a great point of why is Judi Dench a cat wearing a cat coat? Also, when Idris Elba takes off his coat, he just looks. Ugh.
They made him so ripped.
It's just creepy.
Idris Elba needs a new agent. That's
100%.
I keep saying it. I've said it for ages, man. Just Idris Elba, you're a great actor. If on the off chance that you're listening to this, sack your fucking agent and get someone good. Like Luther is the only thing where you've really been tested as an actor. Please God, find someone else. Stop doing films like Cats and Fast and Furious.
Do you know what's
he
the-
had a good monologue in Molly's Game saying that. Did you see Molly's Game?
Yeah, it's Molly's Game.
Yeah, he had a good monologue in that, which I quite enjoyed. I definitely felt like they were pushing for Oscar bait with it, and it was good, but it wasn't. I was like, you're maybe overselling it.
I watched Molly's Game and I forgot about Molly's Game after it. Do you know what was the last good movie that Idris Elba was in, but he wasn't that great, but the movie around him was great, which made a nice change. Star Trek Beyond. So the next film...
Oh.
I just had to get one in. It's my episode. You'll be glad to know there's no Star Trek on my list. Roma, it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
It should have won Best Picture last year. There were some good films nominated last year, but Roma was the only one that was an actual piece of cinema. It's made it onto this list
And
because...
that brings it on to your next film, Green Book.
Oh, can you imagine I had Bohemian Rhapsody or something like that on here? I can't wait till we do our Oscars episode, by the way, because I'm going to fucking... Oh. Next film on the list, only 3 left. It's been quite a journey we've been on, guys.
It's been quick as
It's been
well.
quite a journey.
I'm so glad we've recorded it because I've zoned out for most of it.
Don't
we're
worry,
gonna-
when I edit this, I'll put in some awesome sound effects.
Thanks,
like
man.
Some explosion noises.
Will Michael Bay this bad boy up?
The audio way.
And speaking of that, my next film is Bad Boy. No. The next film is a movie called Raw.
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 R-A-W. R-O-A-R.
R-A-W.
Raw.
RAWR. R.
Say it like
XD, XD, XD.
say it like Andy Serkis says. Raw power. Just Raw. Directed by Julia Ducournau. This is a French film. It came out in 2016.
Okay.
It was my film of the year for 2016. It's the story of a girl going to university. She's becoming a vet. She wants to be a vet, and she's going through the kind of journey of going to a new place, trying to figure out who she is as a person.
I've seen this one.
Yeah, you've seen it. Woo! Like trying to figure out who
I
she
watched
is.
the trailer and then got repulsed. And
It's
I couldn't.
fucking mental.
Yeah, because here's why. She's trying to figure out like who she is as a person, like like making new friends, that kind of stuff. And at the same time, she starts to have cannibalistic tendencies. So
What?
yeah,
She eats raw meat for the first time.
yeah.
It's
So
not good.
it's this great kind of mirroring of like going through almost like puberty and discovering who you're as a person and who you're going to go with.
University?
It's like, you know what I mean? Like,
No, I don't.
It's kind of set in like a. Not. I wouldn't say.
Would you say it's like
There's
a coming,
something about the world that, like, the whole situation around her that you're always like, something's not right.
yeah, it's odd.
It's like
it's
a
odd.
coming of age film.
It's like,
almost.
yeah, it's like a coming of age
coming
film.
of age, like
It's-
high school.
It's kind of like
Sure.
It's kind of like the way that the world of The Lobster makes you feel.
What?
nothing. It's coming of age high school film.
You love coming of age.
Oh, I see what we've done there. I see what we've done there. Yeah, but with this one,
Yeah.
I think a great way to describe the way the world makes you feel is like Lobster.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's just a little bit off
Yeah.
kilter.
It's not like full sci-fi or full fantasy.
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
something's a wee bit off.
'Cause
Yeah, like all the people in it are like,
I
just
remember
weird
in The
as
Lobster,
fuck, yeah.
when they say like, oh, in The Lobster, if you're not in a relationship, you get turned into an animal. And I remember watching it thinking like, it'll be like a, not a cartoon animal, but there'll be something defining about these animals that still makes them look human or something.
Nope.
And then when it was just animals, you're
When he
right.
comes in with his brother, who's a collie.
Yeah, but then when it happened, I just remember watching the film like, but it shouldn't be like that. It should be there should be something. What? Like,
they should look like the movie Cats.
well, something. I don't know. So that it makes perfect sense to me. I get it. I get that.
But it's so yeah, with her, it's this kind of journey that she goes on where she's like, "Oh, I've just come to this new place. I need to meet new friends. I don't know anyone except for my sister, and my sister's not exactly the most well put together person, which doesn't help me." And then she starts to get involved in the usual kind of silly antics of like, "Oh, there's hazing antics, and there's drinking, and there's weird parties with painting people naked, and it's all that kind of weird stuff." And then at the same time, she starts to almost kind of like when you have to have these kind of intense sexual urges when you're really young and you're thinking all these crazy things. She's having that, but they're cannibalistic. And so it goes from like, oh, there's some raw meat in the fridge and I'm just going to like gnaw on a bit of this, and then she's like gets thrown up and stuff like that, and then her body starts to react badly to it, so she gets these terrible rashes and all highs and stuff, and it's really viscerally intense because of the physicality of what she's doing. But then of course it evolves to her then wanting to eat people, and it just goes and goes, and then the ending scene to this movie fucking blows your mind, and it's just like, holy fuck. And the lead performance and the music, and
It's
just
French, right? It's French, yeah.
and just the look of it, and it's just like the way the actress, just the way she is in scenes and everything, it's just like, it just makes you want to recoil from what you're seeing, but at the same time it's like,
There's a bit
I
like when
want
she's
more, I
when
think.
she's scratching,
Yeah.
and it's like it sounds like
You feel it.
your hand is next to someone, and it's like
Yeah.
that's how it sounds. Like it's
like you're seeing it,
proper-
you're hearing it, and you're
Oh,
feeling it.
it's
It's so
disgusting.
crazy.
visceral is a great way to describe
Yeah,
it.
it's just like, I don't know how the director went about doing it. I've not seen any of her other work, but it's just like, it just takes you over, this film. And Audio Boy's never seen it, and he's recoiling in the seat right now.
It's a big cringe.
And
I
it's-
remember the trailer vividly, and it still stays with me. And it's
Oh, it's just so much but in the
Interesting.
best way.
Cool. That's going to go pretty high up the list as well. That sounds like my cup of tea.
Next, second last film
Second
we're going
last.
to talk about. I think everyone will have seen this one. I know Audio Boy's
You've
seen
done
it.
that three times now.
and only once.
Well, I'm
we've
just
seen it.
hoping. I'm hoping every time. Is a movie called Call Me by Your Name.
Yeah.
Came out 2017, directed by Luca Guadagnino. It was
Interesting.
What, me choosing it or the pronunciation of the director?
No, you choosing it.
This film, I watched it when I watched it for the first time in the cinema. I didn't really have watched any trailers. I didn't know what I was walking into. I'd only seen two other of the director's films, and it's got Timothée Chalamet and Armie Hammer.
Right.
I think it was Best Picture nominated that year when it was like Dunkirk and Lady Bird and
Yeah.
all
Big
of-
year for
and
Best
Phantom
Picture.
Thread and all that kind of stuff.
They got a best picture, right?
No, it went to Shape of Water.
Oh yeah.
But once again, it's another film of.
The thing I have seen is, for some reason, I thought you were talking about the Melissa McCarthy film, which I can't remember the name of.
Can you ever forgive me?
Is that what that was?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thought
You were
talking
never really here.
about- Yeah. Sorry, I got confused. I've not seen Call Me By Your Name, but carry on.
Call Me
Sorry.
By Your Name. It's on Prime, so anyone can
Yeah.
go watch it.
It's on
It's-
Netflix as well.
It's come
Oh, there
up
we
a
go.
bunch. It's again. I was
It's-
kind of should I watch this? But
Oh God, I just realised it's another love film set in Italy.
It is, man.
God,
I'm gonna type there, Gavin.
this is well before all of that.
All of what?
You don't have to cut. I don't care. But it was my first time properly seeing Timothée Chalamet in a leading role where he is so brilliant. Now going forward, I've seen him in stuff like The King or in Little Women and stuff like that, and I just know that Timothée Chalamet is like one of my favourite actors that's currently working, and I can't wait to see the more work he's going to do.
It's nice because he's young as well. So
Exactly.
We've got
He's in the upcoming Denis Villeneuve remake of Dune. So I'll watch
You bring that up all the time.
because it's fucking Denis Villeneuve.
Why don't you pronounce it June? It's a sand dune, right?
I just like
the
saying.
film is June. I'm sure.
June, mate.
Okay, I said Dune.
You shouldn't.
I'll stop. Yeah, with
Carry on with your list, Giz.
Oh, I forgot about that. Gee, what's up? It's like such a perfect romantic holiday love story between Armie Hammer and Timothée Chalamet, where he fucks a peach. Is it a peach?
Yes.
He
Yeah,
fucks a
but that's
peach.
got nothing to do with the love story.
I know. I just like that scene because it's like what? Because
It's an homage to American Pie.
that's the way this. It's the way this film goes, where it's just like it just seems like this kind of bougie family just sunning it up in Italy. He's playing music and he's obsessed with music, and oh, this cute guy comes around, but he's also seen this other cute girl, and you're just like, oh, it's just people just being young and living life. But then it just evolves into Timothée Chalamet's character discovering who he is and what it is he wants
Peach
in
man.
life, and it's to fuck peaches.
a
As
lot
we-
of amazing things happen in this film, and you're really playing it down.
I know, but I think it's the best thing is as the relationship between the two main characters evolves, where it goes for both of them is so different, and by the end, it's heartbreaking in a way, but at the same time, it's so uplifting because where it's taken Timothée Chalamet's character and where he's now going to go forward as a person. And you also, and this isn't to say it to be a preachy wanky thing, but you don't really see films where the primary relationship is a gay relationship between a young boy who's like 17, 18 and a man who's about like 25 with that. You just don't see films that explore that very often, and I think Guadagnino did it in such a delicate, wonderful way where it just felt like any other relationship. For me personally, I've never experienced a gay relationship. I probably won't because I'm not homosexual, but that didn't stop
Not
me
yet,
from
mate.
being able to just get lost in the relationship of these two people in this movie, set on the gorgeous backdrop of like what, southern Italy, maybe. Just like it's every scene.
Don't know, mate,
is-
you've been there.
That's true. Every scene is so beautiful, and all you want to do is just be there in those moments, just swimming in the rivers or just biking down these little roads, and then encapsulating all is just the music, which is just lovely.
Cool.
And yeah, Call Me by Your Name is a movie that stayed with me for a very long time. And Michael Stuhlbarg has a monologue at the end from father to son. It just, oh,
Michael Stuhlbarg is such a good actor.
he's so good. And that year he was in like 4 of the Best Picture nominated for movies. I'm like, Michael Stuhlbarg's the man.
He also plays Arnold Rothstein in Boardwalk Empire, and he's
That's
so
true.
class in that as well.
You do love your Boardwalk Empire.
It's class, man. It's really good. Watch it.
And now we come to
Film numero uno.
the last film on the list is Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
Directed by Denis Villeneuve.
Really?
Starring Ryan Gosling, Harrison Ford.
I've seen this one.
You've
I
seen
can
this
talk.
one. And many other people.
And Jared Leto.
Oh, and Jared Leto. It was actually all right for once in the movie, unlike Morbius.
My friend has a theory with Jared Leto, and I every time he says it, I'm like, you're 100% right. Jared Leto is always the worst part of anything he's in. That's not to say he's bad, because you're right, in Blade Runner 2049, he's fine. But he's still the worst bit of Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
Like,
He's got those 2 scenes where he's just kind of monologuing, and you're just like, you're not saying anything.
I think Morbius might put it to the test, though. I feel like Morbius, he might be the best thing.
Oh,
in
I don't
what
know.
Looks like is going to be.
A shit film.
Matt Smith's in it. He could be pretty alright.
Matt Smith is in the trailer for like 2 seconds.
Walking in a subway station.
It looks like it.
walking.
Michael
Who knows?
Keaton's in it.
That's true. Michael Keaton's Vulture's in it. So,
It's tied to Spider-Man.
oh my God, I don't care. Blade Runner 2049 is what you call purely and simply a masterpiece. It's directed by who is my favourite current director, Denis Villeneuve. Denis Villeneuve has not made a bad movie. And when it got announced, I think it was 2014, they announced they were going to do a sequel to Blade Runner. And of course, I had the same reaction. I assume everyone did. Just like, why don't? And then because it's Denis Villeneuve, and you've got Roger Deakins as your cinematographer, and you've got a great writing team, and you've got an incredible cast, that they delivered one of the greatest films I have ever seen.
I really hope his name's Dennis and you're fucking it up
It's
every
definitely
time.
not Dennis. And it's like, I kind of can't get over the movie and what it does, because the way the plot works for the movie is you think, oh, Ryan Gosling's just going to be Harrison Ford's kid.
Yep.
Okay, cool. That's a bit like generic. We've seen this done before with movies. It's like a Star Wars where like everything's incestuous and everything's connected.
Yeah.
But I'm interested. It looks beautiful. I want to just keep experiencing this world. And then the film goes, hey, no, fuck you. That's not what happened.
Pulls the rug.
Turns out Ryan Gosling's a nothing character who was just a vessel for Harrison Ford and his story to continue in a way. And it's so brilliant. And at the same time, Ryan Gosling's character's way of like becoming more human and then not becoming a human because he realizes he isn't human is so brilliantly done. And Ryan Gosling is faultless in the movie. And it's just like
I came out of Blade Runner 2049, and my initial reaction was one of like, meh. I was not fussed about it whatsoever, and I came out and I was like, I just feel like I'm like, it was fine. I watched it. It's long, whatever. I don't know. It didn't tickle my fancy too much. Then I spent 2 weeks thinking about it, and at the end of that 2 weeks thinking and talking to my mate about it, I think it was the same conversation. Me and Tim were like, and you know what else actually I did quite like about that film? He's like, what? Because you know when you kind of dissect a film, you usually like, oh, I didn't like that, and then this, that was all right.
Yeah. You definitely picked so many negatives first and positives come after.
But we spent 2 weeks of just talking about, you know, actually, I did quite like this one. So it was 2 weeks of just us talking about how much we like certain bits, and at the end of 2 weeks, we both had this conversation. I was like, you know, I think that film might be a fucking masterpiece. And Tim was like, yep, dude, I'm actually with you on that. And yeah, it took me 2 weeks to come around on it, but I'm fully with you. That there's some phenomenal performances in that. Ryan Gosling, and I think this has been not spoiler heavy, but we've definitely said something which could be seen as spoiler-esque. So apologies in advance.
Blade Runner 2049 is the one film on our list that most people will have seen.
You will have seen, yeah. Anyone that cares probably will have seen it. So we'll probably be a bit more spoilery. But the scene of Ryan Gosling realizes that he's not the one. Holy shit.
Yeah.
like, holy shit. It's just a fucking powerhouse as he just loses it.
It's so explosive that when it happened in the cinema, I jumped in my seat for the first time. So I went, holy fuck, I didn't see that coming. Just like, he just unleashed.
Yeah. And it what else I love about it, kind of going back to what you said about it doesn't force feed you your answers.
Yeah.
Replicants because I think after watching Blade Runner, you know what replicants are. They're you know, I think Blade Runner kind of gives off the idea that they're almost cyborgs or cybernetic in some kind of form. And then in this film, excuse me, Jesus. I'll maybe cut that. In this film, very quickly, it shows you that they're just humans. there's nothing interesting about them except they're humans that have little barcodes on
Yeah.
their bones.
They're kind of like the skin jobs from Battlestar Galactica. We're just like, they're not
cool.
Oh, okay. Well,
You're a fucking skin job.
that was or toasters, as they're also called. In that.
But yeah, they're just replicants are normal for all intents, other than they're just like the peak version of a human, and you still don't find out if Deckard Cain is a replicant.
Which I'm so happy about.
And it kind of teases you with that, and there's that brilliant scene where Deckard Cain runs out of the door, and then Ryan Gosling just busts through the wall right next to him.
Oh, so good.
And you're like, you could have had Deckard Cain coming through part of the wall, but you know what I mean? Like it's, I'm with you, man. I fucking like, and it sounds incredible, musically and score wise.
Yeah, the score is beautiful, but also just the sound of audio in general in that movie. For some reason, I don't know why it sticks out to me. What?
Yeah, it's just
How'd you seen it?
Ryan looked at me there. I was like, audio. I was like, yeah.
It's like the opening scene where he goes to the wee farmhouse where Dave Bautista's character is, and they just have that whole back and forth.
Also brilliant.
Oh, like Denis Villeneuve got a fucking great performance of Dave Bautista, and I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
It's like him and James.
That scene is tense as
so tense
fuck.
because you're just like, you look at Dave Bautista and you look at Ryan Gosling, like, well, Gosling is going to lose this.
Yeah.
This is good, and he just gets that hit into his throat, and you hear the kind of like the noise and stuff. But it's the moment where, after Dave Bautista's like, you've never seen a miracle or something, and he just shoots him, and you don't see him fall, but you hear him fall in such a way. It's just like, it just kind of shudders through you when he hits the ground.
Sound design's phenomenal.
Just from top to bottom, it's just like, because you can look at the simplest aspects of like the relationship he has with Ana de Armas' character, and where that goes, where they have like the weird threesome, like back and forth thing. You're just like, fuck, how did they film that? That's amazing.
With Joy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mackenzie Davis and Diarmas.
Man,
It's just
that whole little plot line is
well, when he comes home for
heartbreaking as
dinner
well.
and she like, it looks like a steak dinner, but it's just like some slop on a plate. It's like, just that stuff is, because it gives you such a great insight into the character. But then if you go to like the top level, like it's got these great theological ideas of like God and existence and man and who is to be alive and who's not
I
to be
read
alive.
an essay about, she recommends the book. Like, you want to read the book, and the book is on screen for all of 3 seconds, but someone paused it and was like, what is that book? And went and looked into it, and that book is like, if you read that book and then rewatch the Blade Runner films, apparently it's like the
Where's it all
two
come
films
from?
are completely different watches because of everything that's in this book. And I was just like, that's mad. It's mad they put that in there.
Also, it does the thing that we're talking about with Under the Skin earlier, which is, it's a massive blockbuster film that cost like $200 million to make, and it's still Denis Villeneuve in a way of just like, I'm not going to give you all the answers to this. Like, it doesn't even have like a conclusive ending.
The only real thing it explains is who the one is.
Yeah.
That's it. And even that's still weirdly vague.
It's Keanu Reeves.
I've got a huge theory on that and how Agent Smith is actually the one and it's not Neo.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to do a Matrix episode when
We
Matrix
should.
4
I know this theory.
It makes so much sense.
It makes so much more sense.
so much more sense.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Also,
Star Trek.
At the end of the movie, when Ryan Gosling lies down in the snow, and then the little chime of the music from the end of the first Blade Runner, where it's like teardrops in the rain, and it just comes in, and I just started weeping in the cinema. I saw this movie. The first time I saw it, I was like, well, that was astonishing. I can't stop thinking about it. And then the next day, I woke up and went, I'm just going to go back to the cinema and just watch it again. Sat back down, watched it again, and I thought, yep, it's a masterpiece. And then 3 days went by, and I went, I just want to go see it again now. And I walked back in 3 days later and watched it again. I'm just like, I just gave up like 6.5 hours to one film, and I just couldn't stop getting over it.
9 hours.
It's a 3-hour film,
I thought it was,
isn't it?
oh yeah,
How long did you think it was?
2.5 hours.
That's still not 6.5.
That's true. Mathematics isn't my thing. Words are. I gave over 9 hours to one film that year. I didn't do that for any other film, and I just knew that, like, the minute I started writing my film of the decade, there was at least 3 or 4 that immediately came to mind, like Raw and Blade Runner and Call Me by Your Name. Some of those. I'm just like, but Blade Runner is just—it's a movie that's just always in my head, and I'm always just watching things about it. I've got it there on Blu-ray, and I'm just like, I do my annual Christmas celebration of watching Predator, but this year I was like, maybe I make it Blade Runner. I was like, oh,
You didn't.
I didn't. I watched Predator because I had to. I had to be
Can't break
Predator.
tradition, man. Can't break tradition. But
But
no,
yeah.
I am with you. It's a weird. It was definitely weird for me watching that film and then spending 2 weeks talking about it before
Realizing.
falling in love with it. It's like that's a weird feeling to have. But once I hit that point, I'm with you. That
I do the opposite a lot of the time as well. Like with Gone
Yeah,
Girl,
you
I remember
talk
coming out of the
yourself out of
cinema.
it.
I was like, I fucking love that film, and lived with a guy who I went to see it with, and we spoke for like a week about it. And at the end of the week, I was like, maybe that was dog shit.
Yeah, it rarely happens the other way around. But yeah, it was just a great movie. I want to go watch it again now.
Also,
doing the
just to
double.
give myself a dirty wee plug, because why not?
Pardon?
I'm going to give myself a dirty wee plug.
Okay.
I know what I've said. I'm not happy with it either. I used to write reviews at the time I watched this movie, and I spent weeks writing a review for this because it was like by the end like 10 pages long, and I just couldn't stop writing and talking about it, and then I had to cut it all down and get rid of it. But if anyone's ever interested, go over to my now dead blog, Gavin. ramblingsofascotsman.com, and just search for the Blade Runner and maybe just give that a wee read. I would really appreciate that, because I spent...
You should kick that back up.
That's not going to happen. But I
Why?
spent way too long on that review for nothing.
You know how you keep putting your mini reviews all over our fucking Instagram page?
Yeah, why don't you just use the platform you already have and leave our fucking Instagram alone?
I'm glad you brought this up. I was going to plug it in there, so I'll plug that also now. Go over to our Instagram. I've started doing mini reviews of the films that are released in 2020.
You say mini reviews.
They are
but
mini.
They're just reviews of films. I've read a couple of them, and I was like, that's what he said on mic.
Huge disclaimer: it's not the opinion of us all.
It's only, well, that's why it's called Gavin's Mini Reviews, or Gavin Reviews. Thanks, Audio Boy. But so
I really like
the puns.
You said it wrong. Gav-in review.
Gavin Reviews.
No. Gav
You're
in
missing
review.
the pun.
I know. So far, I've done Jojo Rabbit, The Gentleman in 1917. I just want to try and create some more dialogue over on our social medias.
I also need to pick up the slack on the old
So-
FB. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening. That was Gavin's 10 best films of the decade.
What a list!
What a
we
list.
made it through.
It's good as well.
Yeah, there were some real twists on
Some
there.
real humdingers.
Some things
I mean,
that-
the ones that I could talk about, I'm with you. I can back up that they are cracking. You know what I mean? Like the ones I can verify, great films. And I think everything else has been pretty much verified by everyone that can. So it's not like you've.
I actually
other
didn't
than
like
Blue
two of them, but
Valentine,
didn't mention
which.
so.
Audio
What?
Boy.
I didn't like two of them that I'd seen, but I didn't mention that. So.
What ones?
I don't like Call Me by Your Name or Blade Runner.
Oh,
You don't
But
like
I
Blade
don't.
Runner?
I don't like Blade Runner because I think I need to rewatch the first. Like I watched the first one and
I've
didn't
got
really
most
like
of the
that.
Blu-rays you can take.
So I've
them
not.
home
I've
with
not
you.
actually seen Blade Runner
24.
24/9.
Do you want to take the Blu-rays home with you?
I could probably just watch them on the interwebs.
Personally, I would say Blade Runner 2049 is better than Blade Runner.
I feel like you have to have seen the first one though.
I don't even think you do.
Oh,
Not
yeah, you
really.
do. You 100% do.
I don't think so. I think you can watch
There are
Blade Runner
moments in Blade
2049.
Runner 2049 that I haven't spoken about, that I now won't speak about because I know Ryan hasn't seen it, that when they happen...
Doesn't matter. You just spoke about the film for like fucking
Yeah, but there's-
20 minutes.
There's one moment where like Harrison Ford, where he's like sitting in a room with Jared Leto, and then like the person walks in.
Like, don't get me wrong. There are things in there that, yeah, if you haven't seen the original, will be like, wait, what? But I say you could watch 2049 on its own merits.
I got weepy goosebumps in that moment in the film.
You can watch. You can
Weepy
watch
Goosebumps.
2049.
That's now your name.
on its own
Thank
merits.
you.
I'm weepy goosebumps.
I'll watch both.
Dude,
It's just-
because
it's just-
they are.
it's
They are
on-
good.
Let's not forget, I've seen all of the films of both of your lists.
Okay,
Well done.
and we promised you exclusively that we were not going to watch all the films.
I was really excited to see where that sentence was going to go.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. That is 30 of the best. 28. 28? 'Cause we
yeah,
had two of the
28
same.
because we had two the same.
28 of the best films that you can watch over the last 10 years. And we would recommend going and watch them all. I think there's probably not a single bad one in there. Granted, some of them may not be your cup of tea. And I did
Most
notice...
of mine.
I did notice, like, listening to our list there, like, mine was definitely more kind of sci-fi and fantasy. Not fantasy, but at least had more kind of, like, out there elements. Your list is quite grounded. Well, like, yours is quite
Mine,
relationship
I didn't even
heavy.
realize has a lot of
and yours
yours
is
is quite-
fucking grim.
Mine has a lot of romance and
A lot of romance.
films I didn't
Yours is
realise.
quite grounded. Like a lot of your films are grounded in realism and
Yeah.
were about, which is just interesting. It's interesting that 10
To
of our
see our
best
film tastes.
30 films and
I didn't even realize I had that film taste until I made this list.
it's mad though. But I was the same. It wasn't until I wrote mine out that I was like, this is pretty sci-fi heavy. But there you go. You might not, might not become all your cup of tea, but we would recommend going and watch as many of them as possible.
As soon as our episodes are out, we will put up a post on our social medias of our 10 films, so you can go
Yeah.
back and check them out easy from
Without
there.
having to listen.
Without having to
You should listen.
You should listen.
You are listening. So
You are listening
thank
right
you.
now. Thanks.
But tell your friends.
But you know what?
There's so many walls to break.
Do you know what list of movies doesn't deserve? Well, some of them don't deserve to be watched, and I can't believe exist.
The list of the Oscar nominations this year?
It's probably going to be the list of the Oscar nominations, which
It's fucking dull.
what a boring list of films.
It's so bad. What's the rough roundup? I remember
Parasite, Irishman, Once Upon a Time, Marriage Story,
I can't
and
believe Once Upon a Time
Joker.
Joker got in there.
I know
So many times.
Wait,
Remember
wait, no, because we should say let's do Oscar next week. Oscar next week.
It's Oscar
next
at
week.
time of listening, hopefully it's Oscar week.
Yeah.
This week will be Oscar week.
So they sweet
In
Oscar
3
episode
days-
next week. We do record that weekend.
Yeah, and so in 3 days from now, Oscars are being announced. We will do either a live reaction on the night or we'll do something the day after. We'll let you know when.
Figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Get ready to see me go back to being angry Gav.
No one's going to see him because Gav's going to get this one day. This is an audio platform.
I swear, if Joker wins Best Picture, I'll fucking.
It's Green Book or
I'll
Bohemian
If Joker
Rhapsody
wins
all over
Best
again.
Picture, I'm going to do some of the stuff Joker does in the film.
tear up Hollywood. As always, ladies and gentlemen, we'll probably do the Oscar episode next week, and then after that, we'll be doing an episode off of your favorite films. We're still looking for yours. 3 of your best, 1 of your worst. Send it in via email. It's the meanderingmoviepodcast@gmail.com.
Correct.
You can also send it to us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. That's the Meandering Movie Podcast on both Facebook and Instagram, at Meandering Pod on Twitter.
Gav did not get his fax machine for Christmas, so
I didn't get the fax machine.
we're just no faxes. Sorry,
No
Trips.
faxes.
I didn't get anything for Christmas.
Oh, shut up.
I'm kidding.
But thanks as always for listening. We'll be back next week, and we will be angry as fuck by the sounds of things.
Yep, our niceties are over. You've just had 3 nice, pleasant episodes, and we're going to be so cross.
Yeah, get back to the status quo.
Back to normal.
I'm G Wizzle, just for sure.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Music is life.
It's Meandering Movies, listening to Gary, Ryan, and Gavin. It's all about films, but goes off course. Will there be arguments? Of course, 'cause everyone knows their lives are dull and they have nothing else to talk about.